Hi. Hello, babes. It's me. We're going to get into this TikTok ban, but before I do, I just have to take a moment. These braids are so tight. I can't breathe. I can't think, but I look amazing. Am I wrong? No.
We are the weirdos, mister.
I'm going to be drinking this coffee because honestly, the bottom of the braids is still a little bit wet, okay? And it's 20 degrees, okay? It's so cold. I'm fucking freezing. Oh, look, me and my shirt are matching. We're both having hot coffee. So anyway, y'all did not come here for my beautiful makeup looks, although you did. I am filming for YouTube. Sorry. Hi, it's me, Audra, the Messiah of Nonsense. And this is Nonsense Sunday with a cherry on top. TM. So, to start off this Nonsense Sunday, we're going to talk about the TikTok ban because I made a few little utterances about it yesterday. Thank y'all for coming to my streamerversary if you made it. Thank you for watching me play Fortnite with friends. It was a good time.
Goddamn. We just ran up on everybody.
We really did. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. I can't see what's happening. And... oh, switch guns. Oh, you thought you were gonna fuck with me, you stupid whore! But the thing is, this TikTok ban has been in the making for 5 years, right? We were told a long time ago, it felt like 2020 at the end of it. We were like, oh, they're gonna ban TikTok. And ever since then, it's been no, they're not. And it's always been this kind of running joke that they're literally never going to ban TikTok. And at first it seemed like the TikTok CEO was going to stand on business because he was like, unfortunately, we're not selling. And if that's what y'all need, we're not doing it and we're going to go dark, right? And it kept being TikTok is going to get banned. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. There's so many good TikToks about it that I saved.
Today's the day, the sun is shining, the tank is clean. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hi, I'm Instagram Reels, and the popular girl from my grade is getting deported or something, so come along with me as I try to become the web's new it girl. My daddy may or may not have had something to do with her current legal troubles. She's not actually a member of the Chinese Communist Party, but her dad is Singaporean, and if my grandpa Facebook taught me anything, it's that racism totally rots your brain. So even though Singapore and China are two completely different places, the fact that they're both in East Asia is double plus ungood.
The devil doesn't want you to see this picture of Jesus holding up an American flag.
Grandpa, that's totally AI.
No, it ain't. One like equals one prick.
I gotta get to work setting the vibe, because people will be here soon.
What you know about?
Oh my god, hey, come on in! YouTube's having a thing. There's that new Chinese spot, Red Note. They're having a thing. I check them out. Might see if I can still read, and if I can, just kind of do that. But I'm not going back in there. So.
Because I've deleted the app and we'll get into that in a minute, but it kept going back and forth. And then on what's today? Is today Monday, the 20th? Martin Luther King Day? It is. It's MLK Jr. Day. All right. Okay. So then that would be Saturday? I feel like it went off Saturday night. It felt weird and awkward and strange. Like it happened early. Part of my problem is that I don't know what dates are and I don't know what date it is because of my job as a mail carrier. And you would think, don't you sometimes write the date on things? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Every day is the same. Anyways, so we're sitting here. It goes dark early. You start getting these notifications that you can't really open TikTok. In the interim, people start recognizing that they need to find an alternative to TikTok. Now, we're going to get into the brain rot situation of it all in a moment, but a large amount of creators start flocking over to Xiaohongshu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly. Mandarin is not my third language. We get there and people are having a nice little time and they start realizing oh, okay. And in protest, a lot of people just went over there because for sure XHS is an actual Chinese owned app. And for those of you who are isn't TikTok a Chinese owned app?
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
It isn't.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again, I'm
Okay.
Singaporean.
The date has never been any of my business personally. Thank you. Because it's like never been my business. Because M just kept trying to like drive it into my head. Why did they do it early? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, they're supposed to do it on the 20th. And I was like, okay. And I was like, because that man is getting sworn into office. And M's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And then I go, wait, what's today? Because the way Em was looking at me was like, are you dumb? And I was like, are you dumb? Right back to, so it was just like this back and forth. I just didn't know what the date was. So people start going over to XHS. People are learning Mandarin in like record time, actually. Pronunciation leaves a little to be desired, as does mine. It's fine. It's fine. Ni hao ma it's not easy because it's not just the pronunciation, it's also the intonation. And that's one of the things with Mandarin that can be difficult for a lot of folks. It's one of the things that makes it such a difficult language. It's not just what you say and the pronunciation of it. It's also in the intonation, because English does the same thing, but it's more difficult there because whether or not you're going up or down or to the side or left or right, it could be a little rough. So people are going over there. They're learning Mandarin. They're communicating with Chinese folks or people living in China. It's important to say that because not everybody living anywhere is like of that nationality. So anyways, they start communicating back and forth and things are getting a little like, wah, you know? So TikTok goes dark. People are using XHS. And then, like a demon, it rose again. And I was immediately suspicious. This was like yesterday. And I was like, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. This feels very suspicious.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Now, to give you anecdotal evidence of my conspiracy theory, strap yourselves in, or whatever it is that people like you to say when they're getting ready. Get your tea, get your coffee, whatever it is you drink at whatever time it is that you're watching this.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
Some of you may or may not know this, but I stream on Twitch. I play video games. Oh my God. Oh my God. Here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go now. 1, nothing wrong with me. 2, nothing wrong with me. Wait. I do these videos. Gen X men like came out of the devil's ass. Sorry, I look a little surprised because I wasn't expecting to say that. I do co-working streams, all of these things. This isn't a plug, although maybe. I am undone. Oh my God, every time he says dirty slut, like my body activates. The thing is, I was streaming Borderlands 3. I was trying to play the game. I was trying to have a nice time. However, throughout the day of my, like not the whole day, but the first part of the day, I was having difficulties. Now, part of it could be the extreme cold in Texas that was affecting the internet. That could be part of it, okay? I'm adding that into the equation. So my hat is on and it's tinfoil and I just want you to be prepared. But the thing was, not only was I having trouble with like Twitch and the programs and getting everything to connect with one another, I was also having the problems on my phone, like Twitch mobile wasn't working. I was having difficulty with Reddit. It was getting very frustrating. It felt like all of my social media apps were like hard for me to like get into, look at, and use. And then, just as I fixed it, M goes, TikTok is back. And I was like, delete the app, delete it now, get rid of it. I was like, get rid of it, delete it. This is too suspicious for me. I don't believe in coincidence most of the time. Most of the time I don't believe in coincidence. And that just, I don't know. The only way I could describe it is, you know, like when you're downloading a really big game, like if you got COD Black Ops 6 and you started downloading it and then you tried to play like another game. It wasn't terrible, but it was like a little laggy. You had like some laggy situations trying to play another game because like the download was so freaking big. That's what it felt like. So I've already deleted the TikTok app. And I think currently, at the time that I'm talking about this, currently you cannot find it in the marketplace. But the thing is, even if TikTok is back. The thing that made TikTok great, the thing that made TikTok fantastic, the thing that made it fun wasn't just our ability to connect with people all over the world, our ability to start movements, our ability to find out news. And yes, people did get their news from TikTok. And before you get over here being weird, who gets news from TikTok? I would like to remind you that there was a period of time where getting your news from the television was considered weird. Like if you weren't reading a newspaper and you were getting it from TV, there was something wrong with you. Let's also keep in mind that even if all of the news wasn't exactly correct, it did send people on research journeys to figure out things. Like if somebody said so-and-so had passed away, people went and looked it up. I think for a lot of us, it was helpful if you're media literate or trying to learn to be media literate and trying to discern, practice your discernment. You'd be like, that can't be true. And then you go look, the weird AI animals where you're like, that doesn't seem right. And you could go look it up. It was actually helpful in that regard. So while I understood all of that, I still found it very weird and suspicious that this app that has been told, we've been told over and over and over again, it runs a security risk. It runs a security risk. This same app, by the way, that the great orange man in charge, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that anymore, that he also was able to galvanize voters on, okay? Actually, all of these politicians were on TikTok. And it's no coincidence. I'd be looking around like the FBI is just gonna suddenly bust into my house, which just don't. But it's no coincidence. A lot of these senators and congressmen have stock in Meta. And who was benefiting the most from TikTok disappearing? Because we all know like Instagram, Meta, whatever they're calling. I don't like calling them by whatever new names that these weirdo loser billionaires keep coming up with it for their companies, because it's very irritating. Like I'm not gonna call Twitter that other thing just to appease that boxcar man. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
That is so fetch. Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. I hate y'all. It's very, interesting that at the very moment when everybody's just sitting there like, oh gosh, we're actually gonna lose it. We're making friends in China. By the way, also, we're having white people join the party and waking up to realizing how Black and brown people have felt about this country for a long time. And once again, if you're one of those, if you don't like it here, leave people. It's not that easy. If it was, I think a lot of us already would have. And don't be like, oh, you think it's bad here? Oh, just wait till you get. We know, we're aware. Everywhere is bad, but this currently is kind of worse for a lot of us. Anywho's it's. Then all of a sudden, TikTok comes back up and it's weird. There's many people making posts about how it is weird, how the algorithm isn't the same. And there is a ton of pro-MAGA content on there. And I'm just saying that my little anecdote from before, this is the most ADHD telling of TikTok going down that you've ever heard in your life. And if this makes you happy, go ahead and subscribe now, because this is how I do things. I'm not organized and I'll never be. But from my anecdote before about like how everything just wasn't working, and then everything worked. So I'm just telling you from my conspiracy brain to yours, I find it very strange that when TikTok came back up, suddenly everything else worked and it felt like there was some kind of weird ass downloads. And I had a TikTok out there. I didn't download this because I didn't think ahead, but I was like, does anybody else find it strange the amount of Instagram like meta ads that are suddenly on TikTok? Now I know that there's gonna be people out there who are like, did y'all notice that like Facebook now has a TikTok account? They've had that TikTok account forever. So like, don't listen to those people. That's being weird. They've had that. Every business has had a TikTok account for a long time. And I understand, right? I understand that there are people who built their businesses on TikTok. If you're one of the people who has the sentiment of ha ha ha, now you have to get a real job, you can just eat shit.
That's my opinion!
I know that seems harsh, but those kind of people piss me off. Content creation is a job. If you are getting paid, it is a job. They're not paying these people monopoly money. I don't think that a lot of you understand class solidarity when you say that shit. It's a very weird thing to say. It's like, why do you want everyone to be as miserable as you? What is the point? Like, just because you're miserable, it doesn't mean everyone else has to be miserable. Like, I have to go into work tomorrow. The high tomorrow is gonna be like 34 degrees. I work outside. Am I happy about it? No. Am I mad at any content creator on this platform or others who don't have to go out into the 34-degree weather and work in it with gloves and like Sherpa pants on? No, I'm not gonna be like, you suck, you have to get a real job. Like, I'm not laughing at it. I don't think making jokes about and laughing at the downfall of an economy is good, because the thing that you're also missing is it's not just like wealthy kids who started doing whatever that content is where they're like, I'm gonna show you my fancy life, and like that one time that I found this dress that I put in my closet that I threw up on Alex Earl, you know what I mean? We all know that could only be done by her, by that type of person. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You see a big ass
I do know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Why do you keep asking me that? I know what you're saying.
Could never call me dirty monkey, okay, shit. But people were making a living off of TikTok. And I really urge people to go back to 2020 and 2021 and like remember what was going on. What was happening? Oh yeah, there was an active panorama. I'm afraid now because what I've been seeing happening on TikTok, which I am gonna get to. It's gonna happen. But that was happening. We were in a lockdown and a lot of people lost their jobs also. And if they didn't lose their jobs weren't paying them. There was a good chunk of time between the government actually stepping in to try to help people financially and people not getting that help, doing things like making sure that landlords couldn't landlord. You know what that means. If you don't, and especially if you're not from America, landlords here are like locusts. And what they like to do is they enjoy coming over and taking all of the good, beautiful green grass. And then if anything terrible happens, they then just charge you astronomical fees to, you know, get the grass to be better. I don't know. That's a terrible analogy, and I'm just not in my analogy bag today. So you're just gonna have to make do with the locusts. But they're terrible. There's no reason for them. They buy up a lot of property and then try to rent it out to you and tell you that you have to make like 8 times the rent to live there, which no one does. No one does. They're like, do you make 8 times the monthly rent? You're like, I mean, in Borderlands 3, I do. I forgot what I was saying already, but the main point is that all of these people have their businesses there. Again, it's not just rich kids, not just like regular ass people, even though you should still care. It's not a person like me. I wasn't making money off of TikTok. They kept telling me to get into the creator fund and I just wouldn't, mostly because of the ADHD, if I'm gonna be real frank with you. As soon as I started trying to apply for the creator fund, I was like, oh, this is work. And I just did it. This happens a lot. As soon as I have to start filling out a form, I'm like, oh, and I just don't do it. Listen, we're very lucky that I was in a good place at the time that I applied for my YouTube monetization because I probably still wouldn't be getting paid on YouTube right now. Okay. So we have all of these people in the economy that have been being propped up, right, by gig work, which a lot of content creation is. And this is the problem that I think a lot of people don't understand. This is gig work. Like for me, this additional money that I get from YouTube and from Twitch and whatnot and Patreon, it typically pays for the editor. It usually pays for any upgrades that I need to get for equipment or, you know, subscriptions. And then it also helps to pay groceries in this house. There's 3 grown-ass people living here and I eat like a grown-ass man.
Anyone can be a hungry man.
That's what it pays for. I still have a whole other job, right? And that's a large majority of content creators. Everybody isn't David Dobrik's weird little Hercules ass. Somebody in the comments told me that Mr. Beast is like 6'5", and that is freaky. Could you imagine the dead-eyed stare coming down at you? Oh my God. Just because people have the nice backgrounds, they have the nice cameras, they have all this shit, like it looks good, it doesn't mean we're them. It doesn't mean we make anywhere near that kind of money. And so TikTok helped a lot of people to start careers in content creation that they had no intention of making it a career. A lot of people never had that intention. It just went that way. And that's become their job. That's become their main source of income. We're also kind of, maybe some people are forgetting that the job market here is trash and they're fudging the numbers. We know that, right? Like everybody knows that because very few people are finding jobs in their field paying what they should be getting paid. I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm watching very well qualified people just struggle, especially people in tech, struggling to find jobs. And this reminds me of when I was getting divorced and I went to work at Amazon and I was working next to like engineers and shit. They needed a quick job because Amazon, you know, you get on, they pay your benefits immediately. All you gotta do is give them your soul and then it's fine. Also, learn to wear a diaper, I guess. Just don't shit in it. my ADHD is ADHDing today. So again, if you like this style of whatever it is I'm doing over here, subscribe. If you found yourself unsubscribed, subscribe again. If you did it on purpose, then, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. I don't know why you're here again, weirdo. All of that leads me to, I'm not going back to TikTok. I have deleted the app. I have a strong suspicion that somehow there's been some weird handshake, some very creepy government handshake. And I feel like, again, let me just put the tinfoil hat back on. I feel like we are headed towards like government run news media only. Like we are only allowed to get information that the government deems that we can have. And you know what that sounds a lot like? China. Remember when we were told that China's terrible and like this is what they do? Okay. All right. All right. And again, I understand people have businesses there and content creation. The brain rot of it all is a little stressful, but also I think people need to calm down, trying to shit on people, being like, oh, they couldn't even last a few hours without TikTok, you said, as you commented on a Reddit post about how stupid these people were. Do you not... It can't just be me who sees this shit. Like, how are you going to talk shit about people having TikTok withdrawals when you're literally scrolling the internet right now? I don't think that people understand. It's not just Gen Z and Gen Alpha that are cooked from internet absorption. All of us are. We get all of our information on the internet. And we've all seen what happens when the internet goes down for like a short period of time. Maybe 4 hours. It's all right. I have been in like the worst storm that we've had here in Texas. I feel like that was 2021. We were without power and internet, like all of that for like 72 hours. Listen, the first few hours, you're all right. Even if there was power and there was heat, the first few hours, you're all right. But after a while, you don't realize how much you depend on the internet in general for all of your information. You don't realize that you depend on the internet to tell you what the temperature is. Oh, I wonder if, this place is open. Oh, never mind. I can't see if this place is open because my internet is also down. So, And in a lot of places in Texas, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but like, especially in these smaller towns, you have to like be inside where the internet is actually working and like all plugged in for your phones to work, even with 5G. These are little small towns. So I just need people to recognize that like we're all in this together. And like, actually, no, we're not. Because some of y'all, I'm throwing you off the bus. Like y'all don't have to, but I'm gonna throw them off the bus, because if you are a person who voted for self-interest instead of the needs of the many, then I just don't need you in my revolution. So the revolution is going to be televised as much as we can televise it. I personally am staying on Red Note. I don't give a fuck about data. I'm gonna say that for sure. I do not care about my supposed data. What are you gonna find out? That I watch really dirty BDSM porn? Okay. And she wanted to be double stuffed. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna go ahead and talk about today is Fresh and Fit. So listen, if y'all don't know who Fresh and Fit are, good for you. But they are, or were, a red pill adjacent, I don't know, like, I guess they are red pill, whatever. But if you don't know what the red pill is, it's just like, it's just those angry men who are screaming all the time about how a woman should be at home. You shouldn't even date a woman who has an Instagram because she's cheating on you by having a photo up on Instagram, which is just like, how small is your penis? But like, in reality, they just scream about how women should be in the house making sandwiches and how men should just disrespect every woman that they come along. And you don't understand why. What is your point? And why would you date anyone? It's made Gen Z women and femmes really hesitant to date cishet men because they have just started to be a little stressed about like this kind of rhetoric coming out of them. That is the fresh and the fit. One of them is fresh and one of them is fit. I'm assuming the one who named himself last name Gaines, first name Myron Gaines, I'm assuming he's fit. Well, guess what? Fresh done left the party, if that's his name. I don't actually know what his name is because I don't watch the content, but we're gonna see what he said. It's like a 10-minute video. We're gonna take a little journey. We're gonna take a little trip. If anybody's gonna be full of you, it's gonna be you. Biblically. So the video is titled, It's over. Made a new fresh start. That's why I think that he's fresh, because he said fresh. I don't even know his name, because he usually just sat there laughing non-committally. He like never had any points. And also, just a quick another side note before we start this video, Myron Gaines is like has a lot of self-hate. He's obviously not white, but he keeps trying to say he's white. And if you haven't seen him, you should see him, because he's not a white man. And he's like going full Yahtzee in this bitch. Okay. What's that?
Come home to a white man in my house. And
That's
this white man,
a different white man.
actually, well, two things. If he was black, I'll call the police. Since he's white, I'm gonna just beat his ass. It's Smash Brothers! Let's go!
What the fuck? That was a really odd intro. Okay.
Let's go! Nigga, what is this? Setup is crazy. Anyhow, ready for Al Open? Let's go, boy.
Is this?
Here's coming in, man. Okay.
I'm gonna just throw this out there. Be careful with your boys. Me personally, like, I know that be careful, regardless of your race. When you're speaking to a black man, just be careful about your boys. Okay? Okay.
I see you, Redbeard.
Yeah, you know, coming in.
KO! KO!
Okay.
2 wins. I just got back from Jamaica.
Can I skip this?
Because
he...
And it look like a bag of onion rings. Check the cameras, better be Lionel Messi if you're running in. Gotta protect my energy, cause I'm
like type like chain set. See, there you go.
I'm skipping because like I don't give a shit about a man working out. I don't give a shit about most people working out except for those them muscle mommies are something else. Not all, but some are really do something. They you know what I'm talking, and especially when they do the is he like, I'm looking for when this man is just gonna be like, anyway, I quit doing this shit.
All right, guys, we're back. Listen, back in Miami with a fresh start for the new year. No pun intended, because today we're doing a lot of productive stuff today. We're gonna do as well the gym, dentist, and then my own podcast called The Fresh Start. Yes, today's the first episode with Casey Redbeard, my former roommate and close friend. We're gonna be doing a breakdown of the truth about dating that no one told you about. Also, we got Hero here as well. Say what's up, Hero. He's what's it looking? Anyhow,
he has his own podcast, and he's gonna be talking about the truth of dating.
Guys, so today's gonna be more of a productive day. We're gonna also bring as well some new things to the show, and I have a lot coming on, a lot of guests coming on for that show as well. A lot of celebrities, a lot of people that have a lot of value to add that weren't on the main podcast, but I'll talk to them one-on-one.
He said they were on the main podcast. Can you, oh God, I need this because I need to know. I also need to speed this up because baby Jesus, he's just like, I'm sorry. That's what everybody sounds like to me.
And we're gonna break down, guys, a lot of things you can learn from in game-wise of careers, businesses, how they started, what you can do to start as well. Kind of like a Monday Monday, but a more like intimate conversation, one-on-one. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. So Fresh Start, I see the channel, as you guys see the whole new name, A Fresh Start. And it's gonna be fun, man. So stay tuned for that. And as well, I got one more thing coming up I want to mention. Oh, we're doing a Zoom call this week as well, Council Club for networking. Hop into that, guys. A lot of value there. I'm telling you. Any questions you guys have about why things don't work with a partner, why you can get a deal done, why you can be.
Please tell me you're not paying these men. You know what? Yes, you can. Do whatever you want. It's your life. I don't want to be a jerk. I want to see what he's getting out.
We can do in that scenario. But one of the guys that was in the group, shout out to him, David, he's doing a deal now with a store for his ATM machine, and he didn't know how to approach him. We're broken out to him A to Z what to do. Now he's getting a deal done with the same owner for his ATM machine in full effect. So, guys, it's all about knowing what to do, networking and making connections, and access. You're going to see with the podcast we do at Fresh Start, how that works out and where it's going. But in the meantime, though, again, Happy New Year, man. Back in the land, getting some games with the boy Hero. Here, so what's up, bro? Okay, he don't care. But point is,
Some dogs are camera shy. Bo does not like the camera at all.
it's gonna be a brand new start, and I can't wait for you guys to see today's episode, and guys, an episode on Saturday actually, or Friday, whatever day we do it, with some other special guests. So it's gonna be intense, man. A lot of fun, man. And the community, guys. You guys know my network. We're doing a challenge, a body transformation challenge. How you can become
I don't like any
and
of
be in
that.
shape. And we're gonna get a big prize for winning the competition. I'll be into as well. So if you want to outgame me in the gym, let me know. There's a little contest.
No.
But we're doing that pretty soon. Probably next month or ending of this month. So stop into that, guys. Link down below for my network and Castle Club Premium. Don't forget. See you guys on the podcast later at 3 p.m. EST. Peace. This is crazy. We got 2 tow trucks, and apparently my car is stuck on a chain or something. You see here? So yeah, Hero. Hero, I don't know what's going on, buddy, but we're stuck here, man. We're elevated.
Are you getting towed? Are you getting towed? Because it feels like you're getting towed.
By my gym, I'm trying to go to my dental appointment, but I can't because these guys are messing with my car, man. Damn. Man, damn. All right, guys. Just got the Rolls-Royce service. I'm about to get this fixed right now because I have an issue with the actual shifter, not shifting up, but it should be done by tomorrow. And the tire pressure gauge should be fixed as well. But the Rolls is done, man. Shout out to MC Collision. My boys here hook me up every single time. And yeah, man, looking clean as usual. Shout out to them, by the way. Thanks, bro. And we're gone. And we're gone. So like a new whip. A new whip dip.
So it turns out, I think he was really just trying to like, what is it? Catfish? Is that catfishing? I feel like he was really trying to catfish people into believing that he was like quitting. I'm glad I didn't watch a lot of that and like spend any time on it. He's still showing up. I would say less, but here's the other thing I'm going to, sorry. That is the sound I make apparently when I see Fresh and Fit. It's this whole panel of the men you don't want to be, the men you cover your drink around. Period. This video was 10 days ago. And then this was like a day ago that he was on here. So I think he just tried to like bait people into believing that Fresh and Fit were over. So that they would be interested in his like little solo venture. But I would also say it's very interesting the way that these thumbnails are coming about with just that guy, whatever he is. You know, I don't want to be rude. If he wants to be white, I guess tell him he's white. If you're wondering, like, this is the kind of content that they put out. Why men must put boundaries on modern women, the unspoken reality about getting into content creation, which most of this has actually probably already been spoken by people who are smarter and more interesting than them. Why Mark Zuckerberg and other tech bros can't be trusted. That was 11 days ago. It feels like they're just dropping like 72 videos a second because like, I know that they're all little short videos, but here's what I'm saying. 11 days ago, Collar got told how he should handle his upcoming firefighter job. The Mark Zuckerberg one, Byron exposed Miami 304s for being feminist after they denied it. And most of what he does is scream at the women. And then if they don't behave the way he wants to, he gets some kind of boner from kicking them off of his show, being like, you have to leave. And I, first of all, wouldn't have been there in the first place, but this is what they do. This is the entirety of their content. I also will say this, because here's the thing that you really have to pay attention to. They have 1.56 million subscribers. This bitch is getting the same type of views that I'm getting. I'm gonna open this and like it's not making me feel good about life that I have to open this. Please, YouTube algorithm, do not ruin my spirit. Do not bring this shit back around to me. 2,044 views. Like those are the kind of views I get on like one of my really good videos. Otherwise it's the 597, 579. I can't remember now. Numbers. Also brain. And I don't think that they're monetized unless YouTube added it back to them. But like even the first comment, women think with emotion over logic. That's pretty scary when you think about it. Again, men, anger is an emotion. Okay. This is what I mean. When I'm saying like men need to get out of these comment sections and like go be a human being and like work on yourself and enjoy life. This is what I'm talking about. How many wigs can you count? They got that little welfare false flag up in their back pocket. This is all the comments. This is all of them. Like, there's 13, and that includes the replies here. This is awesome. Your humility and comedy is something to be honored of. Keep the laughs coming. I genuinely don't understand this. I don't understand this kind of behavior. And so my opinion is that this guy here, whose name I still don't know, and honestly, why should I? Call him the other guy, and then that one is the white man, I guess. But the point is that I think that what he was really trying to do, other guy, I really call him Chris. I think he was trying to bait people into thinking that he was leaving Fresh and Fit so that he could start his own, podcast and do all of that stuff. I think he did that very purposefully, trying to get people interested and excited for it. Because if I'm going to be completely honest, I do think that the red pill content has plateaued to the point where there's not nearly as many new joiners because the content itself doesn't do anything. Like, nobody really wants to talk about them as much. I said Fresh and Mitt. There's not near as many reactions or people having any concern towards them. It's just their shorts. It's mostly just them. And that's not good. This person has a full timeline of the rise and fall of the Fresh and Fit podcast. Who cares? I just think it's such a weird form of content to make. And I understand how young men can get drawn into this kind of content. It's much the same way that young women can get drawn into plastic surgery and improvement type content. It's much the same way. It's easy to get drawn into that kind of content. If you're feeling unsure and you don't really have anybody to talk to, or you may be a little bit lonely, whatever it is, you can get sucked into that kind of stuff. You can get sucked into thinking that, ED content, all of this kind of stuff. But you can get sucked into that because it's easy. These people promise you that they will find a way to help you in the embarrassment that is your life. And they don't help you. It's actually really embarrassing. And they allow you to take all your aggression out. It's actually the fault of capitalism and the patriarchy on random women on the internet. And then you go out into the real world and you behave like that. And that's not great. So I just think that he was on a whole mission of attempting to catfish people into thinking that he had ended everything. So Myron does address it. He addressed it 2 weeks ago. My life is ruined.
We got a lot of haters, right? Saying some stupid shit oh, Fresh and Fit is gonna break up. All these fucking dumbass YouTube channels saying this shit. So let me.
I would also just like you to pay close attention to this white man. He's the one who says, I'm not being me. He said he identifies as white. Not me.
Is the headlines now?
That's the headlines, yeah. It's fucking incredible. Yo, let me be clear about this shit, right? And I got a tweet here that I wrote this all out, right, explaining this shit. So let me go ahead and go through this shit with you ninjas real fast, right? Because this is ridiculous that I even have to fucking...
Okay, I don't want to hear him say anything. So I want to address rumors of me and Fresh CEO Network. That took so long for me to figure out what it said. Fresh CEO Network disbanding and ending the Fresh and Fit podcast. Haters have been saying we were done for years. Since 2021, we lost 50K subscribers. That's embarrassing. Yet we bounced back and reached 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube, probably using bots. It doesn't say that. I'm just throwing that in. Less than 3 years of being creators. We had regular jobs prior. This is despite 50 plus different YouTube channels making hit pieces trying to destroy us. They are actually destroying you because you're not getting views for having millions of almost 2 million subscribers. The fact that you can't even get 10% of those subscribers to watch your shit is whack. And we are still here, unfortunately. People say we are broke, yet we still generate 6 figures a month while being demonetized. That's because you're selling crap shit to people that young, vulnerable men are buying, and that's unfortunate. You're just preying on people, but okay. And we are still here. The reason I've been doing solo streams is to free Fresh up to do what he does best, which none of us know what it is that he does that's best, if we're gonna, because it's honestly nothing. And I'm sorry I brought this into your doorstep. I'm sorry I brought this shit into your house. Please don't be mad at me.
It's too late to apologize. It's too late.
So basically, no, they're not breaking up. It was a catfish to get you to think that they were. They're still doing Friends. They're whatever it is that they do, fresh and fit. They still invite young women onto their show. Then they yell at them and they're like, you got owned. And they're like, okay. Either way, Girly Pop, I think, gets paid to be there. So once again, it's just like the strip club who's really getting, okay. But I say this is coming back around to the circle. I think this will be the last thing. Fun fact. There's an update on Chad to Dad. For those of you who don't remember, it was a little piece. A man, I guess we're going to call him Chad. I don't think that that's his name, to be honest. That's that weird incel speak, which they call like buff dudes Chads. And then like women who are hot Stacys. They're like mad at the Stacys for not wanting to fuck them because they held the door open for the Stacy to walk through. That's all I can gather. Chad to Dad is married to his
Filipino wife.
And he decided to bring their relationship problems onto the internet. He starts talking about how he got a Filipino wife, but now, she's Americanized exactly 2 years after they got married, which basically, I guess, is the time frame in which her green card is all like legal and she can become a citizen. Not sure. At this point, they have 2 small children. They're very, very young. So it seems like she's popping them out one after the other. And in fact, currently is pregnant, which is why after his last video where he was like, well, I guess, we're going to have to figure things out. They're both still living in the same house, by the way, in his 4-story mansion, which to me isn't a mansion. It's just a 4-story house. Because again, I saw the doorknobs in the last video and I was like, no, that's not a mansion. And if that's your mansion, I'm sorry for whoever did your interior design. Why did they give you those cheap ass hotel doorknobs? I would lose my mind. There's no way. He gets really excited. He's like, haha, bitch ain't gonna leave me because she's pregnant again. Well, she's leaving. Just to the point. She's leaving. As far as I'm aware, before TikTok went down, listen, we're going to make a nice little circle. Before TikTok went down, she did come out. She did talk about the situation. She did, in fact, say that what's really going to happen at this point in time is that I feel like in March or April is when she's going to go back to the Philippines to have this 3rd baby. She's taking the two children that she has with her for the birth of the baby because she has all these things that are happening overseas with her family. I hate saying overseas because it's weird, but anyways, she has all these things that are happening overseas with her family and she wants to be able to take care of them. She also wants to be able to have a support system in place so that she can give birth and have a happy time, and also so that she can leave him. My prediction is she's leaving him behind. And all of this kind of comes back around to the way that TikTok is happening, the way that people have left that platform, the way that we're watching in real time people just not really respond to MAGA people. And what's happening is the last dying gasp of an empire. These men who did all of this, yes, some of it is sexual tourism. I try to be more level with it because I recognize that finding a spouse in whatever way that you find them, as long as it's consensual and nobody's getting hurt for both of you, can be done. And I don't want to put everybody into the same category, not because I want to be on everybody's side, but because I just think that there's a reality and that some people are actually going with good intentions. That's all. I have gas. The thing is, I have nervous gas. Why all of this connects is that these men used to be able to go over there 30 years ago. These are not the same quote unquote impoverished women looking for a rich GI to save their lives. I watch a lot of TV. That's not who you're dealing with at this point. You're dealing with women who know the score. They have the internet. They know what to do. Jane Ann is not from a poor family. She's from a pretty well-to-do family. The fact that this man, in fact, tried to be you need to learn how to handle money so you can get a job. Bitch, what? Again, you broke the deal. The deal is that you pay for shit and let her live her life and it's fun. And then she keeps popping out them kids for you. But you are trying to keep a tight rein on everything because you know she don't like your ass. Everything is always connected. And this is the final connection. Just follow me here. Follow me on this weird journey. I promise I'm almost done. The connection between TikTok all the way down to the Chad to Dad is that when people started flocking to Red Note, when the TikTok ban was coming up, many Americans in this country started to see that what they had been told about the Chinese people was incorrect. They started seeing how far behind America actually is, not only in technology, but in healthcare and in how we live. And this connects back to the Chad to Dad, because these men who engage in this kind of behavior, thinking that they are going to be able to go over to some quote unquote impoverished country and snatch up a woman who doesn't know any better to get her over here to basically be their mommy slave, don't realize that America is still so far behind that they don't recognize that these other countries have caught up. So now when they're going to these countries, they are no longer the person completely in power. A lot of times they are the mark. That's it. That is the most cohesive thought I have had in this entire thing, and I'm super proud of myself. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. If you like my weird ramblings, subscribe. I'm being a little weirder than usual because my scalp is really tight right now. These are fresh braids. Fresh. So painful. Also, if you're in the DFW area and you do want to get yourself some fresh braids, you can see Hair by Tyra. Like, you can book on her Instagram. She's great. Especially if you thought that knotless braids aren't the way to go. Do you see how far back my face is? I got a little facelift from this. Anyways, that is it. That is all. Until next time, I am so pretty and so are you.
One of my most viral TikToks a couple years ago, I made a TikTok saying how colonizers literally cannot compete. They cannot compete, and what they end up doing when they feel like they're losing is just flipping the whole board over, just getting mad, just flipping everything, and everybody looking at them that's playing the game like, what the hell is wrong with you? Because all they can rely on is thievery. And that's exactly what's happening with this TikTok ban, by the way. The U.S. is actually declaring its inferiority complex that it has. It's literally like that one friend, like I said, that's playing the board game, and all they know how to do is steal. They don't know how to innovate. People say capitalism, breeds innovation. No, it don't. It breeds thievery. It breeds pilfery. That's what it does. And China really right now should feel so high. The Chinese episode they say it should feel so high and superior to the United States because it's declared its inferiority complex to the highest degree, that instead of coming with innovative algorithm by itself, creating by itself, it's saying, nah, if we can't win, we're gonna flip the whole board over. If we can't steal it, then this whole game. And that's the thing. That's why nobody in the world want to play with y'all. Y'all creating yourselves to be isolationists, and you want the people in your nation to also be isolated from the fact that the whole world is moving past y'all, and y'all literally creating yourself to be a whole slavery plantation. Y'all gonna be just as ignorant looking as the South was during the Civil War. Y'all gonna create yourself to be a whole slavery plantation, and everybody gonna be looking at you across the world like, what the hell is wrong with you? As we are innovating and moving along, evolving into a world that's open market trade, that's innovating because they are reliant on their own innovation, their own creative skills, and not stealing and exploiting other people's shit. That's what that motherfuckers got on that Twitter the other day and told y'all were mediocre as fuck, and they was not lying, by the way. They was not lying at all. That's why y'all going to all these places and destroying the places and steal their labor and their intellect, come and bring it into your country, because you are so reliant on other people that you cannot develop the tools and muscles necessary to be innovative, to be creative, to beat anybody in the tech game. And that's what this is at the end of the day. I don't want the United States to ever forget that when y'all went and voted for that shit, if the Supreme Court come back and say the ban is going through, I don't want the United States to ever forget that they are so inferior to China specifically. And I'm not the one saying that. They the ones declaring that. They're the ones at the game right now, flipping the whole board over and saying, I can't win at this game, so I'm just gonna flip everything over, knock all the pieces on the board off on the ground and shit. And that is a statement that the United States is making that I don't want anybody to fucking forget. If this app do go away, I don't ever want anybody to forget the fact that the United States is making a declarative statement about itself and its inferiority to specifically China and the rest of the world. I'll be honest with you, that they cannot play, they cannot create, because they have no ability to pull themselves up by the bootstrap and create anything. They can't compete in a global market. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna flip the board, and the only people that are gonna be disadvantaged for that are its very own people that, by the way, they are looking to create slaves out of, to create a slave plantation on this continent, because that's the only way it's ever been able to survive. That's how it was created. It has no other way. So when people out here saying pull yourself out of the bootstraps, I want America to put a mirror to his face and say it to its own goddamn self at the end of the day. I don't want people to ever forget that. They say communism this, communism. Why is the communism beating you at the board game so fucking bad that you gotta flip the whole shit over? That's the question I need you to ask yourself, the United States, okay? The government, the Congress, and Supreme Court, if they come back and ban this shit. Remember that. Remember, that's the question you need to ask yourself. If you are so great, if you are the best nation in the world, why is it that you gotta flip the game board? Why? And I have the answer for you. I'm sure you know too. It's because you're not, and you know that shit at the end of the day. But like I said, that's what a colonizer do. A colonizer will always devolve because they have no tools necessary to evolve. They have no tools necessary. Under capitalism, no tools necessary to innovate, to create, to evolve in any way. All they can do is rob, steal, and pilfery. That's what you're good at. That's what you're number one at, actually. You can take this badge. Here you go. You're the number one pilferizer across the globe. Have a nice day. Goodbye.